Hi, everyone. My name is Laura Giogani. I'm on the sales team here at Vanilla, and I'm very grateful to be joined today by two of our customers, Lisa from Beverly Hills Private Wealth and Derek from Premier Path Wealth Partners. Welcome to both of you. If you please just give a quick introduction to everyone, we'd love to hear a bit about your role and the firm that you work at.
Hi, I'm Lisa Westermark. My firm is Beverly Hills Private Wealth, based out of Beverly Hills, California. I'm a co-founder along with my two partners, Scott Shagrin and Ira Ravitz. And we were a breakaway actually in October of 2022, and we just celebrated our year and a half anniversary, which is very exciting. Thank you.
Thanks, Laura. Appreciate the opportunity to be here. Yeah, Derek Wittjohann, COO of Premier Path Wealth Partners. Similar, we're coming up on our year at the end of April. Launched from a large wirehouse. I think we launched not to move away from a problem, but rather towards a solution of, I think, finding a better platform to help our clients. We work primarily with closely held business owners, corporate executives, multi-generational family wealth. It's a 7-member team, 4 advisors, 3 support staff, and we're excited to embrace this landscape of independence to ultimately help our clients. So we're excited.
Well, the fact that you both are, recent breakaways, it actually leads perfectly into one of the first kind of questions or themes I want to talk about today, which is around using estate planning and like the overall estate advisory to help build a business, to prospect, and to add a sense of differentiation to your practice. Would love to hear how each of you are thinking about that as you've broken away from big firms and started off on your own and thinking, all right, how do we build this thing? What's our differentiators? How are we going to connect with multiple generations?
Sure. So we work with families and individuals all over the country, but for the most part, our client base is here in California. In California, probate is very long and it's very expensive, very expensive. So for ultra high net worth clients, like the clients we service who have net worths on average of probably between 20 to 50 plus million, it's so important that they have a trust set up to avoid that awful probate process. And one of the things when we're meeting with a client or a prospect, we always encourage people to A, get a trust if they don't have it, or B, when was the last time they've reviewed their estate plan? It's so surprising how many people have had children or grandchildren, or maybe their net worth skyrocketed because they sold a business and they haven't reevaluated their estate plan to include those major factors that could, potentially lead to somebody getting money that they didn't want, or Uncle Sam taking 40% when they pass. So we're very estate planning heavy. The industry is moving farther and farther away from, stockbrokers, from just stock pickers and investment management. Most people now want a holistic experience, and that has to be goals based. I like to say, if you're investing without a plan, it's like you're on a train without a destination. So having the plan is the most important piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, and I think piggybacking off of a little bit of what Lisa said, I don't know that it's a huge part of the conversation. And we see estate planning as really, it's a thoughtful way of creating a strategy around how you transition your legacy, thoughtfully how you transition not only the money, but the values along with that. It's their life's work, so we can thoughtfully create a plan on how that gets transitioned. It's a huge part of the conversation. It ends up being one of their top priorities.
One thing that we say here a lot is, build a legacy that goes deeper than money. And I just like that you pointed out that, it is more than that. It's also values. And it leads me into asking about the next generation as well. That's something I definitely wanted to talk about and hear your thoughts on today, which is we all see the statistics about the percentage that do not stay with the same advisor. I'm curious if and how estate planning, legacy planning plays a role in the conversations you have as you think about multi-generational wealth and having it stay within your firm.
Yeah, I think it's a natural progression. I mean, once clients understand that, okay, I have enough, there's no question that I have enough to meet my own needs, the conversation quickly transitions to family, next generation. And then we're really thoughtful about the types of questions we ask, right? What's the intention of your wealth? Oftentimes it is, between family and then philanthropy that ends up making up most of the answers. But how much does the next generation know about their current circumstances? Do you want to give with a warm hand versus a cold hand? So do you want to give while you're still here to see them, experience the benefits of that versus leaving them a lump sum? Have you started to share some of this information? Do you have any concerns about their own financial capabilities of handling money? The list goes on, but we try to dive deep into what the intentions of the wealth are, and that it's really a natural segue to looping in the next generation. And then once it becomes clear that there is a need and an interest to begin to bring them into the conversation, we have additional resources to, I think, thoughtfully add value to those conversations. But it's a natural flow once we find out that that's really a top priority for us.
It's funny because we also talk to clients about the warm hand versus cold hand. Similarly, it's a very natural progression once we know what a client wants their legacy to be. And I think the mistake comes from not creating the relationships with the family members while the primary client is alive, right? So we will oftentimes offer a family meeting, for example. Get all of the kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews, all of the people that you want to leave something to. Let's get them together and let's have a conversation. We also have some kind of tips, techniques that we tell our clients if they want, especially with grandchildren, the younger generation now, get your grandchildren into philanthropy early. And we have some suggestions for how we can make it kind of a fun family project. And in turn, that of course is teaching them about the value of money, no pun intended, If I'm speaking to a client and they mention that they have a child, I'm typically in the same age range as most of our clients' children at this point. And I just say, hey, even if they don't have anything, if they just want to have a conversation, talk about the basics of personal finance, budgeting tips, go over some of their goals, I'm happy to have that conversation with them. It's part of the package that you get with us. And 100% of the time, I'm taken up on that offer. And even if the child doesn't have anything, I keep in touch with them and start fostering the relationship, from the get-go.
Going back, though, on building businesses with estate planning, and I know I mentioned prospecting as well, I'm curious what the reaction from prospects and customers has been as you weave estate planning into their holistic financial picture.
And Lisa even mentioned it before. I think the investment space is being commoditized. If we're doing great, we're offering, outperformance of, call it 1 to 5%, depending on whatever the investment type is. But if you're striking the right conversations on the estate planning side, you're saving and adding value of 40%, right, on possible estate taxes. So the alpha is huge, and that's on the numbers side. But again, the family ends up being so much of the conversation. I think it gives us the opportunity to differentiate ourselves in spending time talking about, I think, what's most important to them. Also, we don't, between us professionals, we're using the term estate planning. When we talk to clients, we're not saying, okay, now it's time to turn the page and we're going to talk about estate planning. It blends itself. They're doing estate planning and they don't know they're doing estate planning because we're talking about the family. We're talking about their intentions, their values, their expectations for next generations. So we're getting 90% of the information. We're just having a conversation.
It's not just about leading with estate planning with prospects or existing clients, but it's also a great introductory conversation. We actually met with a really large estate planning firm back in January, and we brought some of the vanilla pitch book pages, and they were blown away by it. And so I actually ended up sending them like a sample of what it looks like, because they thought, well, this makes our job easier too, to get this kind of preliminary overview. A couple of our clients work with an extremely sophisticated CPA. She's unbelievable. She probably also could be an estate planning attorney in another life. And she comes to us and requests these vanilla reports for those clients because they've been reworking their estates with, another major thing is, the estate tax exemption is sunsetting in a year and a half. And a lot of people either don't understand that or don't realize how big of an impact it's going to have on potential taxability of their estate. So, using vanilla to show that here's where you stand now, but look, if this exemption goes down to $6 million a person, it's a completely different story. So using it for COI prospecting, so to speak, has also been really a powerful tool.
Given that you are both working heavily with estate planning and with clients and using technology to help with those conversations, we would love to hear any examples or just how you've practically weaved it into the conversation, what that process actually looks like. Like, how do you use technology or how do you use technology in those conversations? What kind of things do you make sure to call out, and how do those typically transpire?
So I have a great story. I love this story. Coming from the wirehouse world, our technology options were limited to what was firm approved or firm created. We also weren't allowed to serve as trustees for our clients, even though for years many clients asked us for that. So going independent, we were able to become trustees, and we were in the process of transitioning. One client's trustee was resigning in not the nicest way, to be polite about it. And Scott, my partner, was becoming the trustee over various trusts. So we ran a vanilla report, and because we wanted to see the full picture, and so the existing trustee had resigned from several of the trusts, but vanilla caught in its analysis that he was still listed as the trust protector
Mm.
in one of the irrevocable trusts. And obviously, he didn't want that. The client didn't want that. We didn't want that. And in their overhaul of their estate plan, that was missed. So Vanilla caught it. And I think that that's just a perfect example of how the technology can work not just from an estate planning viewpoint, but also where are the problems, where are the gaps, what was missed, things like that.
It's, again, really great to hear all of this from both of you. Again, going from how you use estate planning with clients, how it comes up with prospects and COI, all the way through just talking about the evolution of estate planning as you've seen it from wirehouse days all the way through your days of independence. Congrats again to both of your firms. We are really happy to be partners with you. We thank you again for sharing so much thought leadership. I know everyone